On this episode of In the Fight, as the war winds down, countries work together during training missions throughout Afghanistan. Partnerships with Afghan security forces pave the way for peace and stability. We meet a unit that everyone loves to hate. NATO helps members of the military evolve with changes in IED technology. And a retired soldier takes on the MMA. Cooperation and teamwork have been critical to the war in Afghanistan. As the war winds down, multi-country partnerships have transitioned from taking the lead in operations to training missions. Army Sergeant Chiquita Pena files this report.
A coalition infantry battalion, a Marine helicopter squadron, and a U.S. Marine liaison team prove that much can be accomplished with teamwork and an early start. Marine Heavy Helicopter Squadron, HMH 466, prepares their early bird for the day's missions.
This is the CH-53 Echo Super Stallion. It's a SALT support helicopter, so our primary mission is to move heavy passengers, supplies, and equipment throughout the RC Southwest AO.
The passengers are a team, Marines from the Georgian Liaison Team and soldiers from the Republic of Georgia's 31st Light Infantry Battalion. The duo formed to teach Georgians how to assist Afghan National Army soldiers during a compound search. Marine Staff Sergeant Canon Richard leads the way.
Basically, when we landed in the LZ earlier, we came off the bird, and once the birds were off, we swept up to a simulated compound, had the dog search the doorway, simulated myself as the A&A soldiers going into the compound to search. We're setting up our cordon now for the birds to actually land, because the 53s make a big dust-off area. We'll load up, and we'll fly back to Camp Bastion and go home for the day.
While the liaison team and coalition soldiers complete their job on the ground, the helicopter squadron continues their mission from the sky.
All ground via 1 turn needed. So our mission after working with the Georgians was an aerial reconnaissance mission. We just flew over some high-profile areas down in the southern portion of Helmand Province to look for any type of enemy activity.
The mission's success supports the legacy of U.S. efforts in Afghanistan.
Almost every single mission that we do here, we're going to want ANA on board so that the Afghans can see that we're working hand in hand with them.
One day, 2 helicopters, 3 teams for 1 country. From Camp Bastion, Afghanistan, I'm Army Sergeant Chiquita Pena.
If teamwork between multiple countries has been crucial in the fight against the insurgency, then so too have partnerships with Afghanistan's various security forces. Army Private First Class Christina McKenzie reports.
1st Battalion, 12th Infantry Regiment linked up with Afghanistan's National Defense Service, or the NDS, to work together to plan a future partnership. The purpose of this alliance is to continue to crack down on criminal activity and insurgency in areas around Kandahar Province, where the NDS has worked hard to turn places like the Dan District around.
The Dan District is a great model of what all Afghanistan should be. They've secured it. The crime is significantly less than any other area, to the point where they're worried about petty crimes right now. And that's all because the AUP, the NDS, has worked together, just destroying the enemy's support zones in the area.
112th then linked up with the Afghan Uniformed Police to conduct a patrol to look for weapons caches and other threats in the area. Partnerships between the coalition forces and Afghan forces are important to keeping areas secure.
We do try to link up with the central leadership, and they usually will tell us, the enemy's expected to be in this location today or this week or this month, and we'll go down to that location and partner with AUP, making sure that they're the ones leading the patrols.
112 will conduct future patrols with the AUP and the NDS in hopes of eliminating future threats. Army Private Christina McKenzie, Kandahar Airfield, Afghanistan.
The United States Army trains for any situation. But who do they train against? Army Sergeant Chad Guthrie takes us to the other side to find out more about the unit that everyone loves to hate and fight.
All the way. That is the motto of one of the most hated units in the United States Army. They are called Geronimo, the 1st Battalion, 509th Infantry Regiment, and their mission is to play the opposing force at the Joint Readiness Training Center in Fort Polk, Louisiana.
So basically, I'm the senior bad guy I get a task and purpose to win, just like the brigade does. But our mission really is to test the brigade combat team, and in the end, make sure that their hardest day, their worst day, is here as opposed to facing the enemy overseas.
Geronimo uses every asset they have to test visiting brigade task forces, like insurgents that occupy a small village to a large-scale attack.
You know, we're focusing on the biggest things, like are they pulling security at night, or are they all sleeping? So when we see things like that, we hit them with everything we got, just, you know, to try and teach them a lesson. And hopefully people leave here, you know, learning the right thing.
And the Geronimo did just that. Once the sun set on the swamp-filled training area, it turned into a war zone. One of the Op-4 soldiers has a great way to summarize each battle.
Sometimes you're the pigeon, sometimes you're the statue.
Regardless if they win or lose, the training for both sides is invaluable.
And it's good to see units come down to play the bad guys, but get the opportunity to actually, in a field environment, train and get better, and then learn not only from the things they're doing, but seeing units come through the mistakes and the successes they have.
Reporting from the Joint Readiness Training Center at Fort Polk, Louisiana, I'm Army Sergeant Chad Guthrie.
My name is Specialist Keonda Grant from 1223rd Engineer Company. I'd like to give a shout out to my loved one, Dominique, my siblings, Aisha, Earl, and Davius, my friends and family back home in Georgetown, South Carolina. Love you guys. See you soon.
I'm Captain Weston Williams. I'm from Albert Lee, Minnesota. I'm currently serving in Afghanistan. I'd like to give a shout out to my wife, Miranda, and my daughter, Mariana, currently in Smith Mill, Missouri. Miss you guys. Can't wait to see you soon.
Hi, my name is Specialist Cody Lassiter. I'm deployed with 32nd Army Air Missile Defense Command. I'd like to say hi to my friends and family back home in El Paso. I miss you all, I love you, and I'll be home soon.
Hi, I'm Sergeant First Class Jason Rodney from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, currently deployed to Afghanistan. I'd like to say hello to my daughters Kennedy and Nadia Rodney in Louisville, Kentucky. I miss you girls, and I love you, and I'll see you soon.
Coming up, NATO helps members of the military evolve with changes in IED technology. And a father and son continue their tradition on the firing line. Check out dvidshub.net for the latest accurate and reliable information as In the Fight continues. Which of the following is not a component of an improvised explosive device? The answer when we return.
I lost my brother Frank in the Battle of Iwo Jima.
He served on 4 combat tours.
In Vietnam.
In Iraq.
In Afghanistan.
There's a life that was lost behind that pin.
I put it on for my wife.
For my husband.
My brother.
My dad.
My son.
We wear it because we honor those that we lost.
To learn more about the stories behind the Gold Star pins, visit goldstarpins.org.
Balakatan, meaning shoulder to shoulder. We're out here with our counterparts, our allies. We're getting to train, you know, shoulder to shoulder with them.
It was one of the time that we band together as one.
We all have a passion to serve this community together in unison.
It opens everything. It breaks the barrier.
When you put on the uniform, you are held to a higher standard.
A lot of times, you're not going to know what's going to be thrown at you, so you need to be ready for anything.
Stress can affect every Marine and Marine family.
It's very hard for me to have a career when we're always moving around.
We have the same bills that everybody else does.
And you never want to let your staff NCOs down.
The De-Stress Line provides anonymous counseling for Marines and Marine families when it's needed most. It takes courage to ask for help. Call today and let us help you win your personal battles.
Which of the following is not a component of an improvised explosive device? The answer is C, accelerant. Technology is always evolving, and unfortunately this evolution also extends to how improvised explosive devices are made. The NATO channel shows us how they are training members of the military from around the world to stay one step ahead of these hidden killers.
What you're seeing could remind you of a crime scene. This time, however, the explosions took place in a controlled environment, and what we're dealing with is only a post-blast scene. The fragments in these images do not belong to any conventional weapon, but to an improvised explosive device, an IED. Because they are improvised, IEDs come in many forms. Roadside bombs are a common use. Since the war in Iraq, IEDs have become the weapon of choice for insurgents and terrorists. IEDs are one of the biggest killers on the battlefield. But the casualties are not limited to military personnel. According to statistics from the UN assistance mission in Afghanistan, IEDs used by anti-government elements caused 34% of all civilian casualties and were the main cause of death in 2013. IEDs also caused most women and child casualties. 86 women were killed and 91 were injured, up 20% from 2012. 192 kids were killed and 319 were wounded, up 28% from 2012. Efforts to counter the increasingly deadly IEDs must adapt to a constantly changing nature of the threat.
Technology is evolving, counter-IED is evolving, and the only limit to the counter-IED fight is the imagination of the adversaries.
Technological advances help in countering these devices, but training and preparing forces in explosive ordnance disposal, or EOD, is where the heavy lifting has to be done. Where technology fails, training may give the greatest return on investment in the counter-IED fight. Although a combat environment cannot be duplicated, it can be replicated. This is what is being done here at the NATO-accredited Counter-Improvised Explosive Devices Center of Excellence in Hoyo de Manzanares, Spain, which oversees all related education and training events in NATO.
This is an international military organization with 9 participating nations. We are delivering courses to all NATO nations and also ISAF contributing nations. That means that around 33 countries, NATO countries and ISAF contributing nations have been attending courses here.
We learned through Iraq and Afghanistan that the IED scene doesn't end after we respond to it. The post-blast is a huge part of an IED, as we've learned.
In light of the recent tragedies on military bases in Texas and Virginia, sailors at Naval Air Station Sigonella are training to respond to an active shooter. Navy Petty Officer Donovan Patubo files this report.
Sailors at Naval Air Station Sigonella are better preparing themselves to be first responders in a worst-case scenario by participating in an active shooter drill. Master-at-Arms Seaman Savannah Jacoby explains security's role in the drill.
As a first responder, we pretty much go in there and we eliminate the threat right away. No questions asked. Like, if we see somebody shooting, we do what we have to do to go home and get everybody out of here safe.
Although it was a drill and there was no real danger, Jacoby found the experience to be very
eye-opening. It was eye-opening because, I mean, we started out with 4 people and then everybody knocked off, and worst case scenario is just me in there, and you have to do what you have to do to survive. Get everything secured, come out.
Not only does this training teach first responders what to do in a situation like this, it gives them the ability to make split-second decisions in the heat of the moment with confidence.
When the time comes, I'm going to react in the way I was trained to react. So I'm excited, and hopefully it never comes to it, but if it does, I am trained, and the military has trained me to respond to situations like this.
For Naval Air Station Sigonella, I'm Petty Officer Donovan Patubo.
Family traditions are important to pass along from one generation to the next. They help strengthen family bonds and help create memories. Army Sergeant Katie Gray introduces us to a father and son that continue their tradition on the firing line.
A father and son team compete in the 2014 Winston P. Wilson Championship at Robinson Maneuver Training Center in North Little Rock, Arkansas. Private First Class Tom Hoy and Sergeant Tom Hoy are both part of Oregon's marksmanship team. Private Hoy joined the Army National Guard after watching his father serve.
There's many times where he'd come home in uniform, and I think it was the coolest thing ever.
Since he could walk, he followed me around, and everything I did, he wanted to do.
I respect my father more than anybody in this world. He's my hero.
The Hoy's skills in marksmanship has been passed down from father to son for more than 4 generations.
I taught him how to shoot when he was starting at about 4 years old, and he picked up on it, and he's going to pass me someday. Soon. We have a lot of traditions passed down from my dad and his dad when it comes to marksmanship in our family, and he taught me everything I know. And to be able to pass that on to him and see him here competing at a national level and actually running with these guys and doing well it's beyond belief for me.
The Hoys are not the only ones with a strong tradition of marksmanship. Marksmanship also holds an important place in American history.
It's America at its finest, and that's one of the reasons why we are as strong as we are.
That training and that tradition passed down could, with our career choices, could eventually save our lives.
Sergeant Hoy continues to pass his knowledge down to his son by coaching and encouraging him in the Winston P. Wilson matches.
Perfect, you're about 3 inches left. I'm very proud of my son and what he's doing here.
For the National Guard Marksmanship Training Center, I'm Army Sergeant Katie Gray.
Hi, I'm Chief Master Sergeant Todd Williams, deployed in the Middle East with the 379th Force Support Squadron. I'd like to say hello to all my friends and family in Tampa, Florida. Mom, Dad, Michelle, Drew, Deja, Talia, Tristan, Tori, and Tiana. I thank you all for all your support and hope to see you soon.
My name is Sergeant First Class Antonio Diaz. I'm from Austin, Texas, currently deployed in Afghanistan. I'd like to wish my wife Veronica, my son Isaac, Nick, and daughter Lauren that I love them and I miss them, and I can't wait to get back to them.
Hi, I'm Staff Sergeant Danielle Cummings, deployed in the Middle East with the 379th Force Support Squadron. I want to say hi to all my friends and family back home in New Britain, Connecticut. My mom, my dad, my brothers and sisters, and all my friends and family. Thank you so much for all your support, and I can't wait to see you guys when I get back home.
Coming up, a group of A-10 pilots makes history. And we'll showcase some of the best photos from our service members as In the Fight, presented by Divids, continues. What is the nickname of the A-10 Thunderbolt? The answer when we return.
With the new Military 24/7 app from Divids, you turn your favorite mobile device into a window to the front lines. Connect with your nation's finest men and women through our video and photography archives and stay up to date with news reported directly from service members. Quickly share information and breaking stories with friends via Facebook, Twitter, or email. News, photos, video. Your military 24/7.
The environment is my passion. Every day, I live for the outdoors and all of its challenges. That's why I enlisted in the Coast Guard. Now, I serve to protect the environment and defend my country. It's like I was born for this.
Were you born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
What is the nickname of the A-10 Thunderbolt? The answer is D, Warthog. It can be said that history has a funny way of repeating itself. But in this case, a group of A-10 pilots may be the first of their kind. Airman Basic Caitlin Moeller explains in this story.
It would be pretty epic if it was, I mean, I don't think I will ever be involved in one ever again, so it'll be pretty awesome. And either way, even if it has happened before, it doesn't happen very often, so it's pretty awesome to be involved with it.
Captain Nettelblad of the 354th Fighter Squadron is talking about the possibility of making history alongside 3 other female pilots. Captain Winetsky explains.
It was just a normal training sortie. It just happened to have all 4 females. We have 3 pilots stationed here at the Bulldogs, and then Selfridge was in town for a snowbird.
Good timing may have helped these women fly into the history books as the first A-10 ship with all-female pilots, but it's through hard work and dedication to their service in the Air Force that truly made this flight possible. Airman Basic Caitlin Moeller, Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, Arizona.
MMA, or mixed martial arts, has become one of the most popular sports in America. For one retired soldier, it has become a way of life and a personal challenge. Missouri National Guard Public Affairs correspondent Mark Owen brings us this story.
Good. Now can you throw me a 1-2? 1. Good. 1. I think that the way he can draw a crowd into the show was what most promoters want. That was a good one.
Some have said this fighter has a small burden.
From your mouth. Keep control.
People say he has a disadvantage, but if anything, it's an advantage for him.
Step 1. This MMA fighter is Missouri National Guard Sergeant Joshua Rector.
Again. People telling me I can't do something, that alone is one of the things. I mean, there's a lot of different things that drive me. It is part of my identity, but it's not something, I don't let it stop me.
Good job. Rector comes to the ring as a seasoned warrior with a strong drive to succeed and focus on the mission ahead. Yet, an uninformed observer may say he is at a disadvantage.
He has one arm, but when I see him, he has all the weapons he needs for a fight.
In August 2008, Rector started living his childhood dream by joining the Missouri National Guard. In early 2010, his unit got orders to serve in Iraq. Day 32 of that year-long tour changed Rector's life forever.
We were coming back off a mission, and while coming around a curve, my driver corrected just a little too much and accidentally dumped the truck.
Rector was severely injured. He was taken to Walter Reed Hospital in Washington, D.C. for surgery and 6 months of physical therapy.
I would say the way that it's changed me is that it just, I have to figure out new ways to do everything, and I'm a more driven person now.
Rector turned to mixed martial arts for a way to focus and get back into shape. Not everyone felt that this was a good direction for him.
And my drive, to do this, there's a lot of people who say, oh, well, you probably can't do that because you have one hand.
I think the more people tell him that it's not possible, the more he works on finding a way.
I love to be able to prove people wrong like that.
And that is exactly what he did as an MMA fighter.
When I first met Josh, he came to me and he wanted to lose a little bit of weight and get in shape, and he eventually wanted to fight.
The hard work and dedication was obvious with Rector's first official fight against Brandon Collins just a few months ago.
He's a strong opponent, and I was honored to fight him. I'd do it again if I have to.
Brandon came by the arena to watch Rector fight his second fight.
Seeing you, man. I hope you bring home this W.
Fighting out of the red corner, 6'2".
Oh, I think he's taking it home for sure. He's bringing home that W.
Red ready, timekeeper, let's go.
Stop. It was a great fight. He shocked me. He surprised me. I didn't expect him to come out banging, and that's what he did.
And I just, I felt a lot of pressure to make sure I got that win, and a lot of people were telling me that I couldn't stand with him, and so I just decided, that I was. And, it turned out well, and I'm feeling really good now.
Not only because of his undefeated record, but knowing he is doing something and it will be done to the best of his ability. Though he received his medical retirement from the Missouri National Guard, he takes with him the values he has learned as a soldier and put it to use in his new career.
The military didn't turn out exactly the way I thought it was going to, obviously, but I'm very glad I did it. You know, I wouldn't be the person I am without it.
Reporting for the Missouri National Guard, I'm Mark Owen.
DVIDS is a 24/7 operation that provides a timely, accurate, and reliable connection between the media and the military serving worldwide. Through a network of over 200 portable satellite transmitters around the globe and a distribution hub in Atlanta, Georgia, DVIDS gives you access to the front lines with live and archived broadcast video, still imagery, and print products. Visit our website at dvidshub.net and search through our enormous video and photo library. Register on our website to gain complete access to high-definition content, along with breaking news alerts and webcasts from top military officials. For questions or comments about In the Fight or DVIDS, you can email us at ondemand@dvidshub.net or follow us on Twitter and Facebook. As we close, we feature some of the best photos that DVIDS has to offer, as we listen to Eddie Horst's composition, Pangea. See you next time, In the Fight.